You can
Oh,
bet
sure,
I
man.
say.
I'm totally
Yeah,
down.
yeah, sure. Whatever you want, Crip.
Right.
And part of it's because he's really popular, part of it because I met him and I like him. But let's say an unknown, small time YouTuber asks me, "Hey, Toast, you want to collaborate?" Chances are I'll just say, I don't want to really deal with that. I don't want to figure stuff out. So, Chairman, you are. I'd say you're probably most right about that. It's like,
Okay.
What do I have
and
to gain, right? It's just
Yeah.
like you don't need the exposure, and you also are satisfied with your own product.
Yeah.
And if you're not getting much out of it, then is it worth the hassle, the headache? Maybe like it's just there's a
Opportunity
lot that goes
cost.
into it. Yeah.
I mean, that's not to say I won't help someone. Like, if someone, hey, can you retweet my stuff, or can you maybe, bring some exposure to myself? Like, when Luda started off, like, with 2 videos, I was retweeting, like, all his stuff because I loved them. But going beyond that, like, working with him and trying to figure out, whose video, like, whose channel does this end on, who gets the ad revenue, who gets all the credit.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That can really, turn me off it.
Yeah. How about you, Trolden? Yeah, I mean, I know you've done stuff with like TV before, right? Or just other Hearthstone stuff.
I played on the stream with Total Biscuit.
Oh, that's right.
Make funny lucky moments about it, but then I was like, I'm making video about myself. That kind of sucks. And I just generally also help, the YouTubers I enjoy, like Ludas. I helped Toast back in the days when he was.
No, yeah, he retweeted
retweeting all of the stuff. Yeah. And
really nice.
Just I don't know, if you enjoy someone's content, you can help him, but all those collaborations can be a little bit too much. And also, I don't know about you, Toast, but I get like advertisement suggestions all the time. And the biggest problems that I don't have any sponsors right now. I don't have any sponsors.
Plug everybody out there.
If you're looking to sponsor someone,
yeah, exactly.
Everyone keeps sending stuff like, "Hey, can you maybe make a video about this thing we're gonna send you, or anything else?"
Product kind of content.
I just don't want to do that because my viewers are used to a certain type of content that I make, and if I make something advertising someone, then people are gonna hate it, and I think it would turn a lot of people off my channel. Yeah. So that's one of the issues I encountered recently. Then a lot of people want to, do some advertisement with my channel, but I don't want to betray my community, backstab it.
Well, as long as you make it clear,
you did.
Call it like Trolden sells out. Trolden sells out, right? Like that's the name of the video. Trolden sells out. A magnificent skincare cream from I don't even know where, made with specific like you could just very specifically. You call it Trolden sells out, man, and you can make one video with like 7 products, and like you put 7 seconds for each product, literally a minute and a half total for the entire thing. You'll go like, all right, guys, so I have this amazing cream. I use it on my face today. You have like a 2-second blip of yourself just putting like cream on your skin, and then you move on to the next product. This cheese is amazing, guys. I just fucking love it. And then you just keep going through it. 1 minute and a half. You got all the sponsors happy, and everybody upvotes it because it's fucking dank. That could work. That could work.
So to that point, like, Noxious, I know you have a couple of videos on your channel, like, advertising these products, right?
And yeah, it's sponsored as hell.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference between like someone like Trolden, who people watch him for his content, and not Trolden. Like, I'm sure you're a lovely guy, Trolden, but I doubt. Yeah, I don't think a lot of the guys who subscribe to you, they just want to see funny, lucky moment videos. Whereas someone who subscribes to Noxious probably subscribes to Noxious because he likes his, personality. He's funny, not necessarily the Hearthstone content, right?
Right, sure.
Yeah, it's so, personality is what it is.
Yeah, so when Noxious sells out, like, more people can stomach it. It's like, oh man, he's just doing a funny video about, advertisement, making some money. Like, I love to support him, but if Trolden sells, like, imagine if Trolden tomorrow uploads a video saying, use code Trolden for 3% on G2A.com. Like, everyone will just flip the fuck out because it's like, what are you talking? This is the funny lucky moments. This is bullshit.
Actually, the
the
money question. The money question
videos
is
from other people and then tries to sell out after that.
Yeah,
that's... The money question would be as if Trolden got on the camera and was selling some product, how many people would say, "Who is that guy?
Who's this guy?
Who is that?" Like, I don't even know who that guy is.
Trolden, why did you make a video about a guy just talking about skip stream? Right. What is this highlight reel of bad TV show? Man. Like, it's just could be funny, man. But there's a place to start, honestly, and this could be like it's not impossible for you to do it. I just think it has to be done right, and because your content is very humorous, it couldn't just be, yo guys, I just love this new cereal or something. Like, it has to be very humorous. Like, it has to be really, really funny. That's about it, really.
Yeah. I don't know. You also have to tie into Hearthstone somehow.
Right, right. That could work.
That's the toughest part. It's just like it usually has to make sense, right? Even sponsors usually don't even come up to you unless they can figure out a way for it to make sense, or at least your audience would be
that's false, man.
Yeah, so
they're really weird nowadays.
Oh really? Okay.
Oh yeah, dude, I've had some, like, oh god, no names, but basically they approached me because they wanted me to like make a video to pitch a website, and I was like, I can't make like a standalone video for this. Like, it doesn't, how does that even work? And I said I could put it at the end of a video as like an outro. Would that be fine? And that ended up working out, but it was just, they don't even think about it. They just look at the list of, I guess they go on Social Blade. They use the API to drag every channel from a specific range of subscribers down to another, and they just mass send a copy pasted email with maybe a modification in the title of the person, like "Hey Noxious" or "Hey Toast" or "Hey Trolden." It's just really generic. So
yeah,
no thoughts at all.
No thoughts at all. Okay, you brought up just really quickly there just about, this guy's like just using other people's clips and blah 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 blah. So that came up recently, right, with the whole Oddshot talk just in the last few months. Yes. All right. This is like the controversial topic of the day. Yeah. So yeah, Oddshot. There's been a lot of companies honestly that have been starting recently that are similar to the Oddshot model, which is like clip streamers, just videos from streamers, and then just post it right on their own content aggregator. So they've gotten a lot of crap, just from obviously Raynad, even myself, and just a lot of people in the community. But like, with funny plays, funny and lucky moments, I mean, it's similar, right? It's similar in the fact that the clips come from other people's streams. And you make it into your own different type of video, and I think that's a different composition in the end versus like Oddshot, which literally just takes the original, right, and posts it. But talk about that. Talk about why, I guess, what you're doing with that, Trolden specifically, is more accepted by the community versus what something like Oddshot is.
Oh boy.
Or Toast, yeah. Whichever.
I mean, I'll give my opinion on it because
sure.
I mean, with Trolden, he's definitely more involved in this because it's a majority of his content.
Yeah.
But I can just kind of give my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
So, the most important thing is, do you have permission to use this clip, right?
Yep.
If you have permission, then everything's cool, everything's fine. Mm-hmm. Now, if you don't have permission, you kind of move into this range of, okay, how much value are you adding? So there's a lot of channels with just straight rips, stream moments, like just, download the stream moment, 30 seconds, 1 minute, and upload it, like no editing, no nothing.
Yep.
And which is essentially what Oddshot does. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have someone like Trolden who, puts into a compilation, who adds music, who times it, who puts in funny edits, where there's a lot of added value and it's kind of mixed within other stuff. So in that case, there's the potential for people to discover your channel. So let's say you're a small-time streamer and your content goes on Trolden's Funny Lucky Moments, and people, oh wow, this guy's really funny, I'm gonna check out his channel and I'm gonna subscribe to it maybe, or watch his stream. But on the other end, which is the Oddshot thing, you're straight up taking something that could have been on this guy's channel, not adding anything to it. And there's no reason for me to look at your channel now because I just saw the highlight in its entirety, which is what most streamer has a problem with. Like, a streamer can see that and see the views that he's losing and say, hey, I'm not okay with this. But a streamer can see his moment on Trolden and say, hey, I'm maybe gaining some benefits, or maybe I'm losing some views, but more people know my name. I think that's one of the reasons why Reynad made such a raised the point about it, because he was seeing his revenue essentially being affected by this. Like, Oddshot doesn't add value. Oddshot doesn't put into a compilation where non-Reynad viewers can see it, check out his channel. It's just straight up, here's a moment that I own that they're profiting off, and I'm getting nothing from it. But the realistic answer is it's why Trolden doesn't really run into the same problem, is because streamers don't have a problem with what he's doing. Like, but when you do something like Oddshot, it's like you're gonna get people pissed off. Like, people in League of Legends community is also pissed off at Oddshot because like they see the issue. It's very clear. With Trolden, you can see potential upside, which is why I think most people are, when they see their moments on Trolden, it's like, hey, that's cool. Yeah. I mean, I'm happy. I want to submit my content to Trolden. That's kind of my view on it. Yeah.
Actually, Noxious, what do you think? Before we get to Trolden, Noxious, what do you think?
I don't mind it as much as some people do. I've had problems with some channels. Like, I've never really sent any copyright infringement garbage anyone's way, but I thought about doing it, and I feel like at some point I should probably tackle it, because it's been ridiculous. And like, at some point, thing is, like, a lot of the content that you want to upload sometimes ends up on Oddshot before you put it up, but Oddshot is still a very different platform. The thing that annoys me is when it ends up on YouTube before you put it out. Now, that's frustrating, because then that's exactly the same platform. There's no way people are going to run into one instead of the other. So it's just a really weird thing. And when there's no permission asked, I feel like the early days of Hearthstone were pretty much the Wild West. People just did whatever they wanted with anyone's content. It was like, all right, guys, so there's a bunch of guys playing Hearthstone on Twitch, which means it's a public platform, right? Each person has their private channel, but it's a public platform. I'm allowed to take everything and, smash it together in this half-assed compilation. It's a compilation without any modifications, so they could claim fair use in that, well, I didn't put the entire thing. I just took clips and bits and pieces, and I had to run them through Sony Vegas for 3 minutes, and then render it. Right. So I feel like, I think Trolden initially didn't really send any messages to people, but he got on it very, very quickly. And that ended up changing. I don't know who you ran into problems with. It wasn't me. I know that. Initially, all my stuff was...
I didn't have any problems. I just thought that, the fair use thing allows me to use other people's content as soon as I edit it a lot. Like, I add music, I add zoom ins, I edit it a lot, and then I leave a link in the description and annotation. Right. So fair use kind of allows that. But at the same time, I thought that if someone was to try and claim the video, it would be, a long process of fighting it. So I'd rather just ask people and
That's a good idea.
Get into any trouble. And about Oddshot, by the way, I feel like the problem with Oddshot is much bigger than we think, because it's not about Oddshot, it's about Twitch. I think Twitch should have something like Oddshot built in, so that streamers could immediately press a button like, okay, the last 2 minutes I just Twitch shot them, and then I can put it on Reddit, and Reddit is not gonna throw up because there's a Twitch link. Every time there's a Twitch link posted, Reddit just throws up. No one wants to watch it because it's Twitch. The player is awful. And I think Oddshot is Oddshot
Shots
is like
fired.
Oddshot is that like abomination that came out of Twitch's laziness.
The abomination. Oh my god.
Yes.
Okay, sure, man. I can see where you're coming from, though. I like the way you're putting it. It's true.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't put too much blame on Oddshot, because the idea is kind of nice that streamers can just upload content immediately. The problem's that whenever I see something on Oddshot, I have to look at the link, see what streamer that is, and then copy paste it myself. I don't even think there is a separate link to the VOD of the streamer in the Oddshot. So I think a lot of this has to do with giving credit to the streamers. It's just like, I watched the video, I don't want to go anywhere again, just close it.
Well, the thing with Oddshot, I think at least my problems with Oddshot initially was that they started this whole thing without even having any kind of partners program, right? There's no revenue sharing with the content makers themselves. Like you said, a link that credits the stream, that is like 0 conversion rate. I mean, like 0.01% conversion rate or 0.1%. Nobody is going to actually go to that guy's stream.
Do they have ads on Oddshot? I'm not even sure.
They didn't have ads originally on Oddshot either. But that just means nobody benefits. But still, I mean, Oddshot, nobody benefits revenue-wise, but Oddshot still benefits from like an advertising standpoint, right? So they still build up their user base, and then whenever they decide to add ads, then they, that's the key to.
Do they have a big user base? People just, I don't know.
No, I mean they didn't have one, but I'm saying like a good way to do it, right, is to create a service for free. That's why a lot of these services are free to begin with, and then you build up a user base, and then you eventually monetize them in some way, right? And so they were the ones that benefited. I mean, they didn't benefit immediately. But it's just like a YouTube channel, right? Like our videos are free, and if you just build it up, and if you get like hundreds of thousands of subscribers, then eventually, you will monetize in some way, right? Whether it's advertising or just whatever way you want to. I think Oddshot was in that position. They were getting value from that. Now, they've introduced a partners program, but that was my deal. Like originally, they just came out with this thing, just hoping, like waiting for people to complain about it first, and then reacting to it.
What's the deal with the partners program? I haven't heard about it.
I mean, it's still being, again, it's not like the most developed thing yet, but last time I heard is that they had X number, like some kind of tranche of money that was allocated to rev sharing with the, the other streamers. And then they added the opt-out too. Like before, when it happened to me and I was talking to them, they didn't even have an opt-out. You couldn't opt out, like generally opt out. You had to go and DMCA them like every single time you saw a video on their site. So now I think they have an opt-out. You can just tell them, hey, like don't do anything, like or don't allow any odd shots on my stream. And then they have some partners program that has some kind of tranche of money that's like a static tranche of money. So once that's gone, they don't have anything else. But at least they have that. You know what I mean? It at least tells you that they are trying to do the right thing, I guess, in terms of just.
Well, I was
having
the
that, originator, having the originator,
They're doing it.
But yeah, to your point, Twitch should have it. This would be like so easy if just Twitch had it for us.
I still feel like people are putting too much blame on Oddshot. It's just it's more fault of Twitch that they're not supporting their own streamers and content
or user base, just fans, right?
Yeah,
it's like a consumer thing. This is like a really great thing for consumers.
I mean, the problem existed before Oddshot, where people just rip moments and put it on their private YouTube channels and monetize and make money. Like, I mean, even Crip, who's like usually really laid back about other people using his content, like commented on Reddit post saying, "Hey, bro."
Please don't. Come on, man.
That's pretty. That says a lot when Crip says something. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the guy has like 5 Criparium videos, like just straight rip, each with like 80,000 views monetized.
Wow.
Really funny moments that Crip was going to use on his own channel. And now, people, it's on the front page of Reddit, everyone's seen it. And, Crip was super polite about it too. He was like, he didn't even ask him to take it down. It's like, hey man, could you, just cut it back a little bit so I can use it for my video. But people have been doing it since, forever.
Day one of the game, at least. Like pretty much like the moment people started watching Twitch, they started making compilations of stuff. So that's kind of just
And I know Trolden too. I know Trolden. I remember you would go to a lot of the events too and just get to know everybody. And I don't know, did you ever talk to any of them, or like just?
No, I just looked them in the eyes.
Wow, that's really really ballsy, man.
And then I was just tearing in their eyes.
Oh man.
Of course, I talk to everyone.
Yeah, I know, but not everybody.
Of course,
does. Just... No, but I'm saying like not everybody does that.
Stare at
right?
them in the eyes.
Yeah, it's like listen, man.
Oh god, that is so dark.
I'm sorry. No, that's another thing about Trolden, is that he's actually talked to almost everybody. So.
Yeah. There was a minor altercation with Rage Orc, who does similar videos to
Oh
Trolden.
God, yes.
Who?
Where
Rage Orc.
Rage Orc. He's like the
Rage
second
Orc.
most popular Funny Lucky Moments guy.
Okay,
where this guy who had 90,000 subs, Nigma, he used his clips without permission, and Nigma called him out, and they had this kind of spat on it, and it really highlights the issue between whether or not you should ask for permission, and even if it's under fair use, like whether or not Rage Orc was legally allowed to use it. You have to ask, do you want to damage your reputation? Because the Hearthstone community is pretty small. Like everyone almost knows everyone. If you're known as the guy who takes people's content without permission, and once they call you out for it, go to the legal handbook saying, "Hey, I can do that, so screw you," then you can do that. But
there's another thing. They advertise the website sells card packs cheaper in almost every video, so that's a thing.
Yeah, that's definitely not good.
It's hard.
Okay, well, let's move on to, I guess, transitioning to other games. Trolden, you've been starting to make videos in Overwatch, and is that the next step for you guys? Just kind of opening up the scope for just to beyond Hearthstone and getting into some other games that you're interested in. Trolden, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Basically, my end goal is to work at Blizzard someday.
Okay. So,
all right. So
you've been made. Hello.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Blizzard. you have a community manager sport. I'm up. So I want to work at Blizzard someday, and I'm determined about it. So in 5 years, I'm probably gonna be at Blizzard. I have a goal.
Yeah.
I have to get education in the next few years, and then I'm gonna apply and try my luck. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna apply again. They're gonna have a lot of applications from Trolden, but I have to.
I like that, man. That's good. That's very good.
I know it's good to have.
I would think you have enough to apply for Blizzard right now. Like,
you should give it a shot right now.
Even as a content maker, I mean, just
there's a legal thing that I actually have to get education
for visa.
You mean the university education?
Oh, right.
What's it called in English? High school?
No, college degree. Like a degree.
College degree. Degree.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, there are some legal issues because Blizzard has an office in France, and I would have to move to France. And it would be much easier if I had a degree. And there's also a problem with payment. I think some companies, at least in some European countries, can't pay you as much as they do to a person with a degree.
Yeah.
So you have to get a degree of some sort.
Okay. Interesting. Didn't know that.
I'm working on that right now, and I'm gonna apply and try and get a job at Blizzard. But right now I'm trying to spread out a little bit to Overwatch because you cannot rely on Hearthstone alone all the time. And I tried doing something like that with Heroes of the Storm, and even though I like the game. I really like the game. I play a lot of Heroes. It's not the game I'm passionate about as much as I'm passionate about Hearthstone or Overwatch. I got invited by Overwatch developers to visit headquarters in Irvine. It was really amazing. I love Jeff Kahn. He's a guy who was working on World of Warcraft before Wrath of the Lich King. So he's like one of my
expansion. Yeah.
The
last true expansion.
He's one of my favorite developers that have ever existed, probably. Awesome. And I'm so passionate about Overwatch. I can play it all day, and it's never getting old.
I did.
Why I want to make it. Yeah, I played for like 6 hours, I think. Then I had to go to bed and get ready for today.
Yeah, if it wasn't for today's show, I probably would have been playing twice as much as I did yesterday.
I was actually almost late for the stream because I was finishing up my Overwatch game. I was like 2 minutes.
When you called and we were talking about microphone configurations, I wasn't fixing it because I was playing Overwatch.
Wow! My God!
I see how it is.
Oh man,
I understand.
And he's
man.
like, I don't know what's wrong. I can't fix it. Oh wait.
Yeah.
Hey, wait.
Watch now, though.
Let me just kill this guy. No,
okay, I have 6 seconds till I respawn.
Yeah, exactly. Toast, how about you? Oh, no, go ahead.
I feel like when you make a content, you have to be passionate about it, at least in the starting phase. The passion burns out, and then, of course,
it's a grind.
You treat it as a job, but in the beginning, it has to be the passion thing.
Yeah.
And I'm passionate about Overwatch right now. I've never been so passionate about this game before. Only Hearthstone was for me like that. So I hope I can make some cool videos about the game.
Toast, how about you?
I mean, I've been thinking about it a long time, and one of the biggest struggles I have is if I was to create non-Hearthstone content, do I put it on my existing channel with 180,000 subscribers, or do I have to start a brand new channel? Because let's say tomorrow I upload an Overwatch video, there's definitely going to be some backlash because, you know, I'm not a personality. I'm not Crip, I'm not Force, I'm not, you know, Noxious. Where people usually just watch me for me. People watch me because they like Hearthstone content and the weird stuff that, you know.
Yeah, but you've created a brand, though. I mean,
I was gonna say that, like, your brand is bigger than just Hearthstone. Even though you might think it's limited to it, you could get away with doing more than that. And what, like, you just make it clear in the title that it is Overwatch, and people will either watch it or not watch it, I guess.
Don't even.
I mean, you can't avoid that. You can't avoid that bad pun or whatever it is.
Yeah. Since, you know, the whole League of Explorers thing, I've been trying to move my content towards that direction. So I actually put in a couple of stream highlights for my stream because I want people to realize, hey, eventually, you know, Hearthstone's not going to be here. So I need to get people used to the idea that, hey, DisguisedToast is a person. You know, he's not very handsome or anything, but you know, there are some redeeming qualities about him that, hey, maybe one day when he doesn't do Hearthstone videos, maybe you'll stick around, hopefully, please. But yeah, so I've been trying to, like, essentially prep my viewers by adding myself in more of my videos, whereas before it was like, hey, Miss Lethal's card origins, like, you wouldn't even know I existed as a human being. But now it's like people are coming around to the idea, hey, DisguisedToast is
a thing, person, you know? Yeah. He's got a body.
Manifesting himself into a being.
Feelings and dreams and stuff.
Aspirations and all. He's a real human being.
Yeah.
An independent host.
Exactly. So right now I'm just waiting for that one good non-Hearthstone video idea to come up where it's easy for people to move on to it. So if I upload a boring Overwatch video, people are just gonna get pissed at it. But so I'm just waiting for the right moment, I guess.
So just picking another game, or just you want to just go like general from now on? Like could it be about movies and TV?
Is it gonna be like DisguisedToast the guy doing anything, you know, PewDiePie style, or is it gonna be DisguisedToast does Hearthstone and that game, and then eventually Hearthstone rotates out because it dies off, and then you pick it up with another game, and then it becomes, you know, like, do you have a roster of games that you plan to kind of look at, or do you just really want to go broad?
I think a roster game, like something what Total Biscuit does is ideal for me. Like Total Biscuit started off with I think World of Warcraft. Eventually,
it was
moved on to StarCraft and got really popular there. And then now he's considered one of the best gaming critic in you know in the whole scene. Like if I had something similar to that, I'd be very happy. Like starting off with Hearthstone, maybe talking about Overwatch a little bit, and eventually moving on. But I think I'll always make Hearthstone content. Like
it's still your bread and butter.
When you mentioned
that was dank, but nice one.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
I had to acknowledge it, dude. At least.
Yeah. So when you described how you want to make your channel, I immediately thought of Video Game Donkey. I saw his content. Yeah, he did League of Legends videos for a long time.
Yeah.
Then he kind of switched to different stuff, even movies and everything, just general topics. And I really enjoy his channel, so doing something like that is a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, Video Donkey, it was for a reason why he stopped doing League of Legends stuff, right? Semi-recently, but yeah, to your point, yeah, I think that's the smartest route for content makers, you know? Like, you can't just be doing one game forever because the lifespan of the game isn't forever. So, you know...
World of Warcraft seems to be.
Well, World of Warcraft,
no one watches YouTube content anymore. That game is dead on like everywhere but the game itself. It seems like I feel like there's no coverage of it. So even though the game might live on,
I don't agree.
Okay, you think it's coming back to like full force?
I don't think it's coming back, but I know a lot of channels that have a pretty high viewership.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh, in
most
World
of
of
them
Warcraft?
are. Okay. Yeah, most of them are machinima channels.
Right, but that's not like when I think about WoW, I think like, WoW PvP videos. That used to be a huge thing, just
Holy
gameplay.
Shit.
That's dead, dude.
Who gives a shit about World of Warcraft PvP? That's broken.
What?
No one cares about it.
It was the biggest thing though a while back, and you could actually produce content related to that, like class guides and rotation. Not even rotation guides, because that's really bad. Like you'd have to suck not to get it. But you basically you could give people tips, and people would watch it, right?
Yeah.
Now it's just. Well, here's a funny thing. I role played as a gnomish child in the Goldshire Inn on where like I don't even know which server anymore. But it's just like there's so much. Like it's gone. I feel like the game content is gone. It's mostly spin-offs now, right?
Well, that's because
just,
I mean that's natural though, right? It's like the same with Hearthstone. It's like whenever we don't have anything new in Hearthstone, I mean it's like you can't. It's kind of one of the reasons I changed the format of Value Town, right? Like we can't talk about cards and meta like every single week when like not much changes, right? So it's the same kind of thing with the WoW too. I mean the game's been around forever, and then like an expansion comes out once every X years. So there's got to be a lot to fill in the time in between, and it's cool. It's got its own community now. It's got its own creative community and artistic community. So machinima sounds like that's where it's at, right? So that's cool.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah.
But the problem with World of Warcraft is that when PvP was popular, Blizzard hasn't supported it. But now that no one
dude, it was so bad.
Oh no.
No one gives a shit about it. They keep running those tournaments, 250k prize money for World of Warcraft PvP. I mean, that's a little overkill. Better give those money to Hearthstone players.
Well, it's coming there. I mean, everything. The thing is, Hearthstone is making so much cash that they could have like a $2 million StarCraft 2 tournament next year, for all we know. There's like they can basically allocate that money anywhere they want. The WoW PvP might be quote unquote addressed with the new expansion because they're making pretty drastic changes.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Overall, what I'm saying is Hearthstone's pretty big, but there might be a time where it falls into the same World of Warcraft-ish limbo. And I hope that that's never the case, and that the new cards they come out with will be so novel that there is always going to be interesting stuff. But like, there's always a good argument for diversifying your channel, I guess.
Well, the nice thing about Hearthstone is something comes out every 3 months, right? Or 4 months or whatever it is. So at least we have that kind of increment in terms of changes. And now there's going to be huge meta changes every year with the whole standard format. World of Warcraft, I mean, it goes years. Like we're talking years.
I still play it. My subscription's still running.
Yeah, I have like 5 years of WoW tokens.
WoW
that's
still
all,
makes a ton of money. So, okay, well let's talk the last topic here before we do Q&A. For those of you that do have questions, you can tweet them to ValueTownGG, and we'll get to those questions in just 1 second. But the last topic I want to talk about is just Patreon. From the standpoint of supporting content making, and that being one of the avenues, especially with live content versus static content with YouTube, because the YouTube, obviously the more views you get, the more CPM you make. I mean, the CPMs are based on just the revenue you get is based on CPM and the number of views. But with live, it's a little bit of a different thing, right? Because CPMs on Twitch are pretty crappy, and people generally use Patreon for that type of way of supporting that type of content. So Toast, what do you think about Patreon generally for content makers?
Okay, so my personal experience. So I used to have a Patreon. I think I kept it up for 3 months. Basically, I felt it was way, hey, if you want to support me an extra mile, you can just donate however much you want per month. But eventually I shut down after 3 months because I felt a bit guilty about not providing extra value to these people who are paying money to me. Like, they're actually giving me their hard-earned money. Mm-hmm. And it was a struggle for me to figure out how to make it worth it for them, right? I mean, I'm sure most of them just wants to support me and stuff, but I did feel guilty not being able to give back in a way. Like I put in some personal posts on there, like personal thoughts on certain things, but I didn't feel like it was enough added value to justify it to keep it going, so I shut it down. And also in terms of the amount, it wasn't super high. I think it was like just under $100. So it's like it doesn't make that big of a difference. Like sure, $100 every month is nice and all, but the
You're not
hassle
gonna live
of
off
having
of it, right?
Yeah.
Like if it was like $2,000, then I'll definitely put in the extra mile into creating specialized content for Patreon supporters. But
so
well, is it a chicken and egg thing? I mean, if you said that you were going to do that, would more people do it?
Yeah, that's very true. It's like because when I said that, I was like, donate however much you want. My reward is my appreciation and my love and my butter.
Wow, that is your butter. Oh God, where's this going?
Which obviously it's not that appealing, but at the same time, I think it's too much work to create these specialized rewards. And obviously, some people have something like, I'll add you on my BattleNet friends list, or I'll shout you out in my next video.
Right.
But for me, it's like, you know what? That's a bit too much hassle. So if you want to give me money, I'll take it. I'll take your money. But
I won't give you anything for it besides my appreciation, which is like
no strings attached kind of thing. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. So I guess I don't have the best view on it, but that's just my personal experience with it.
Nox, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I did the same thing as he did. I mean, the amount was a bit higher, but it was still not something like it was big enough, and people were like didn't mind it too much. I was really afraid of putting the video out there that I would even make a Patreon because I thought, wow, the backlash is gonna be crazy. Within about a week, I got $300 up on the Patreon, and then I let it go. For a while, I had some milestones in mind. I was like, yeah, I can give people something back. For the most part, though. It was just, if you're putting any money into this, is because you want to see more content or whatever it was, appreciation. And then at some point I realized, well, I haven't really been able to find the time nor the ideas to really push the content production. So I ended up never cashing out on the Patreon and refunding everything. So, I mean, it just went nowhere in a nutshell. And I shut it out. I shut it down. I thought it was going to be a decent idea. It might have been, as you said, chicken and egg thing, but I just didn't want to bother with it. I was afraid that one day I might be, I guess, bogged down by its existence to where I depend on whatever content I needed to put out as an additional thing to warrant it. So,
okay,
I don't know.
Trolden, what do you think?
Basically, maybe a year ago, I was set up Patreon, and the thing is, it asks for video, like an announcement video, and I set up a webcam, and it took me about 3 hours to record a video, and I watched it, and I was like, holy shit, my English is terrible. I'm not gonna put that up on the YouTube channel.
And, I will get completely killed.
Yeah, I'm getting killed. And so I decided not to run Patreon.
Purely because of the video? Oh my God.
It's a really big deal, man. It's a really big deal. It's actually it might have been a great call, Trolden.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem is that I kind of use other people's videos, and I ask them to pay me for it's it's kind of weird.
Can I give you a share of my Patreon? Because I use a part of your clip in that one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be weird. I guess you're right.
So it's
split it.
It's a weird thing that I don't think I morally can just put up a Patreon there and don't put up any additional content for people that are pledging, and just be like, hey guys, give me money, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about making a Patreon, just because I have another channel, so it would be like a combination of those two, and then I could, for people who pledge $20, I could send a T-shirt, for example, or something like that. I'm thinking of ways of doing that so it's fair, but I didn't think it through yet. It's still not working out that well.
I hear you. Yeah, I mean, obviously we have a Patreon for Value.
Segue.
Yeah, exactly. We have a Patreon at Valuetown. You can check it out. Patreon.com/Valuetown, and maybe we'll show it. And they have reward systems, and I think, and I'm exactly I'm kind of in the same boat as you guys in terms of when I'm thinking of it, and that's why I'm so terrible at even just promoting it. But the thing is that when I look at other people's like successful podcasters, just like the enormous ones that make like 20,000 a month, just the crazy ones, and I look at their videos, it kind of, I think it conveys something that I didn't really think about before, which was they're very straight up. They're just like, hey guys, this is a value proposition. You know what I mean? This isn't donation. This is nothing like that. Like, I can't do these things unless you support them. So think of it as like, you not donating, but you contributing to getting a product. And I think that's like the big thing. Like, there's a little bit of a misconception as how Patreon exists. It's not. It shouldn't be just like a donation to us, from our standpoint as a content producer, because it's true. Like the show, right? The show wouldn't, like, I can't do the show for free, like, forever if I'm doing this for a living, right? I mean, that's the reality of it. It's different for a YouTuber who, like you guys, who are making probably a good amount of money on YouTube. But for somebody on Twitch, like, these live shows, I mean, nobody donates. You guys can see, nobody donates or nobody subs to these things during the live shows. So, Patreon is really like the, outside of sponsorship, sponsorship is basic. I mean, Patreon is basically fan sponsorship, right?
Exactly. And it's like crowdfunded sponsorship. You could put it that way, and I think it's pretty cool as a concept.
Yeah. So I feel like that's a thing that I think content makers are, have a difficulty. I mean, they kind of view it in a distorted way, in my opinion. But yeah, Patreon, I feel like, is really important for folks that do maybe something similar to what I do, just with the shows, right? More so than just like a personal stream that does get a bunch of donations and things like that. And podcasts too. I think patrons are probably the most like podcasts, monetizing podcasts generally, like in all kinds of different space. I think Patreon's been really, really great for. So yeah, I mean, it is weird and conflicting from the standpoint, I guess, if you're already making a ton of money like with your content.
Yep.
But but folks that I guess aren't, I feel like it's definitely a good way. And there are rewards, there are milestones, and I think that's what you guys were getting towards, like feeling obligated to provide those extra things. And it's really up to you what you do there, right? Like you can choose what you do. It's like, I think I've asked many times for feedback as to what you guys want to see on the patrons, and like nobody says anything.
Cares.
Everybody's just like, yeah, that's okay. Like we don't need anything. Like I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of weird there, right, for us, because we feel like we need to give something back to you guys.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you just look at, say, there's a lot of artists that use Patreon as well, right? Like, let's say comic people, right? They post a comic.
Yeah.
They'll say, once a week I have this comic going on, a part of a big series, and I promise you'll be getting one per week. And if you want to support that endeavor, then you just pledge with the Patreon, and what that lets them do is actually guarantee that this comic, people want to keep it going. And Patreon is a good way for them to monetize, because they can produce, say, 2 comics a day. Like it's just not realistic, and it won't necessarily grow. It's hard to monetize something like a comic, and I think Patreon is useful for those things that are hard to monetize baseline. Like that is the important thing, is that the stuff that you have a hard time monetizing by default, that's where I think Patreon is the most useful.
And you can, and a lot of people just think that Patreon is like you pay X per month. You can actually pay X per piece of content.
Yeah. So there's nothing. You're not pledging at all. Like you're not getting money robbed away. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like that.
I don't like
episodes. You don't give us anything. It's like
I don't like it for reason that if, for example, I set up a Patreon that for every Funny and Lucky Moments episode I get money. Then if I start making episodes more often, then it might seem like I'm trying to get more money of Patreon users.
Oh, and
like
but they can just adjust.
There's a cap, man.
Yeah, they can just you can set a cap per month, like as a patron, or you can just adjust it, right? Okay. I've had people just adjust theirs, like and just make it lower, just because they just have to do a little bit of math, right? If I do it once a week, then it's like divide by
4 times a month. Oh, that sounds difficult.
And it's more fair, because like if we're out of town, like all 3 of us, like me, Nox and Ray are out of town, then you know we don't charge you guys for you know, like I don't feel obligated to, right? Or all of us feel obligated that, hey man, they're paying per month and like they expect 4 episodes and we feel, you know, like really bad about that, right? So but anyways, yeah, Patreon I feel like is really, you know, important and for content, just at least a set of content makers. So yeah, no, definitely take that into consideration, guys, whenever I guess people are promoting it. It's mostly like podcasts and talk shows, at least in the Hearthstone space.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to Q&A. Let's do some Q&A. We got some questions here. You guys ready?
Yep.
All right, guys that want to get their last minute questions in, tweet it again to ValueTownGG and we'll try to read some out. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to take the top one. I haven't done very much filtering here. Hanto Shinobi asks, games consistently change due to updates. Is there any value in older videos, or is new content the only way to stay relevant?
Ooh, well, wow. In terms of Hearthstone, you definitely need to be putting out fresh content, like because a lot of stuff gets out of date, especially if you do something like a guide channel, like how to play Secret Paladin. Okay, right, that's a poor example.
Oh god! Oh, please let it happen.
In one of the earlier episodes, I have when Blackrock Mountain came out, I have Green Patron combo like for the first time ever in my episode. And everyone's like, whoa, that's so cool. That's awesome. The Green Patron is amazing. Best card ever. And you know what happened to everything. I mean, a few episodes later, Green Patron, everyone hated that card already. So it doesn't make that much sense to watch previous videos. But still, there are some moments that are good or enjoyable, watchable for another time.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you do need new content, I feel, to stay relevant. You do.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just new videos, right? Because that's just general YouTube.
But that's how you know everything works.
Yeah,
you cannot like make one podcast and then do nothing.
What? It's not gonna be watched for eternity, like one episode. Okay, the caster asks. Let's see. Oh, actually, not the caster. Sorry. Andre Sauer asks, due to the changes of YouTube and Red, how will you adapt to those? Any references views versus length of video?
I woke up and I saw YouTube Red and I was like, oh shit, that sucks. Then I messaged one of the people from my network and they said, don't do anything. And my ad revenue didn't change. Nothing changed. I live my life as it was before.
Okay. Yeah. Toast, did it change at all for you?
No, I just ignored it. Because I haven't looked that much into it, but the way people talk about it is kind of this very weird system where it's like a pool of money and it gets split with a bunch of people depending on how much views you get. So I just kind of ignored that and kept doing my thing.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, right? Like, it's what, $5 a month? Am I mistaken? I forget.
I think it's 10.
Okay, let's say 10.
Yeah.
A single view on a single video with the CPMs that are going on nowadays is worth like a cent, right? Like I'm exaggerating a bit, but it's like with the amount of ad blocking too, like it doesn't help. But it like one view is worth almost nothing. So for them to watch enough videos to make $10 worth before YouTube Red, like they would have had to be doing nothing but literally just sit there and watch videos for the entire month. So if they don't watch 1,000 videos in that month, then they're not getting they're not putting out $10 worth of ad revenue. So the moment they're not watching 1,000 or plus, then they're just feeding money to the content producers and YouTube, incidentally, of course. But it's just like there's no money lost. If anything, there's more fueled in, unless people watch more than I knew on this platform.
I mean, especially with people with longer, like, I mean, it's very, very little, guys, but even just like show VODs like mine, right? Like it's really long, and if people watch like 30 minutes of it or 40 minutes of it out of whatever an hour, it helps, right? Because it's all about percentage of viewership. You get that cut of that $10 or whatever it is.
And you know that YouTube Red gives more money to longer videos. So it's better when you have longer video.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Let's see. Oh, the Zen Alchemist, he has a couple questions, actually. He says, Toast, how do you feel about being anonymous? Have you considered revealing your identity, and how do you think people would respond?
Oh, man. Like, the way this whole thing started. So, I named myself DisguisedToast, and I thought it'd be funny. Hey, let's go to this fireside gathering just with the mask. Just bring it to the fireside gathering as a joke. So, Crip was there, and I did this joke where I pretended to be a fan. And I talked to Crip, like, "Oh man, I love your content." And then when we took a picture, I snuck the mask on my face and surprised them. It was like pretty cool. And then I was supposed to play on stream, so like this was on Crip's stream, so like there's like 20,000 people watching, and I was about to go on without the mask because it would be weird, like a guy playing Hearthstone with the mask. That's pretty weird. And Crip was like, "Hey, you should totally wear that mask. It would be so funny." And then I put it on, and I ended up winning. And I did that video where I had the mask on, and it was like sitting on the front page of Reddit for like 3 days. And I'm like, "Oh shit! Well, I can't ever appear without the mask now, or it's gonna ruin the magic." And so ever since then, I've been always wearing the mask if I have to go on stream or if I have to do a YouTube video involving myself. It has its ups and downs because I don't know. So some downside is people have a harder time loving me, just like my parents. But
oh my god, what on earth was that self-deprecating dark humor? That came out of nowhere.
So basically, when you're a streamer, like popular streamer, people love seeing your reaction, especially when something crazy happens. But you don't get that with me because when I'm excited, when I'm sad, it's just that cardboard face. But
you should animate it and put it up like
I was gonna say, dude, you should absolutely
there with a smiley face or a sad face.
Oh god.
Yeah, you get a CGI team.
Yeah.
But it's a running joke at this point. It's like I don't really care if people see my face. Like the first couple of times I streamed without the mask, but it's mostly just keeping the gimmick up. And I think eventually one day I will just reveal myself essentially, because I feel like this at one point is gonna put a ceiling on what I can do. Because
a ceiling, yes, I think you're right. Like you have to watch out if you ever want to get your face out there as a personality.
Yeah. So if I ever wanted to cast for whatever reason, I can't really show up with this because sure a lot of people.
That would be glorious. You just need to get a professional like asset. I don't even know, like an asset maker. The guy just makes you a perfectly fitted Toast mask.
Oh my god, okay. Yeah, like a latex one or something.
Yeah, I don't even know anymore.
Okay, yeah, that could be interesting.
Then the Reddit starts complaining that maybe there's a different person behind that mask.
Oh yeah, freaking Toast on.
Yeah,
right
dude,
there,
Wolf Toast. Is...
right. Holy crap.
But I saw Toast's face. Ask me anything. Post on Reddit.
That would be good. That'd be good.
Trip's seen it, Trolden's seen it. And there was this incident in California where someone went to the Hearthstone event with a Toast mask. And he got kicked out of the event for doing something. And someone was talking about Reddit. It's like, yeah, DisguisedToast is a huge asshole. Like, I saw him at this event in California. He was doing all these things, and eventually they had to kick, like, these security guards escorted him out. And that's probably why Blizzard hates him. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's a problem. That's definitely a problem.
But it's also, I guess, a positive because anyone can put on the Toast mask, right? Anyone can.
Legion.
Dude, this is gonna be like V for Vendetta stuff right here, man. Or Anonymous.
You're right back gonna rob a bank with a Toast mask.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We are all Toasts.
So far, I'm loving it, but yeah, eventually one day I will reveal myself.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, even just comfort level, right? It's just nice for people to know who you are and all that good stuff.
It's hard to breathe in that too.
Wait, you don't have a hole? You don't have a hole anywhere near your mouth there?
No, there's a hole. There's 2 holes actually for the eyes, but it's just a piece of cardboard. It's a piece of cardboard that's pressed up against your face by tape and rubber bands, just like flattening my nostrils so I can't even breathe.
Oh man, that sounds
it's annoying.
Sounds terrible.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's see, maybe one of the last questions here. Question to Trolden. Will you keep making videos when you work for Blizzard? What if they pay you much less than you make for YouTube?
Then you won't take it.
Well, no, that's a good question. That's a good question.
I like that.
I think you would
say
take
that.
it.
I would say that I make a lot of money off YouTube. It's enough to live in a cheaper European country that is Czech Republic, but it's not that much money. And I'm not sure if I'll be able to produce content when I'm working for Blizzard, because they don't usually allow that, at least in the European office. I know people from American office do that sometimes. I know a few Heroes of the Storm community managers stream sometimes. They even have a sub button. So if they allow me to do that, maybe I will. I think they don't even allow you to keep the nickname. So I'll hope.
I think
hopefully,
Reels is still called Reels. Like I think we'll still like keep that name. I mean, honestly though, like you say you don't make that much money. You get a lot of views from what I've looked at. What network are you with is something you should consider looking at. I mean, I imagine you're probably with one of the better ones, so you should be living pretty comfortably at this point.
Oh yeah, I do, but it's not like the amounts of money that people on social media think I'm making off the videos.
Make it rain.
yeah.
Okay, I mean, so when it comes to, say you just did get a job with Blizzard, what happens to your channel? I mean, are you gonna have? I mean, are you allowed to have somebody else keep running it, or does it just literally stop? Like right then?
I mean, someone's probably just gonna secretly take it over and pretend to be Trolden.
I wasn't even
Trolden son,
but distort the voice.
Distort the voice.
You don't need the voice. He doesn't actually show up
with a fake Korean accent.
Yeah,
you know why?
Trolden's just gonna be sick.
You know why I have so many subs? Those are just bots.
Just chant bots, right? They're ChanManV bots.
Obviously, man.
Gotta remember that one.
Oh god. No, but seriously, like, what happens to your channel? Like, what happens to your? Are you not allowed to have it? Period. Like after that?
I have no idea. I would have to talk to Blizzard about that. But
I'd be surprised if you can't, like, just literally hire somebody to keep it going or something. Like, just make the videos for you, right? Like you can train somebody to make some videos.
Just train them. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I mean, it's not like, I can imagine you could even make some of the stuff yourself and get people to help out. Like it doesn't have to be all you. I mean, then again, you're not there yet.
Yeah.
I hope you get to the to that Blizzard job point that you want to get to. It's a really big thing to aim for.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, let's wrap up the episode. It's been fun, man. It's been a lot of fun talking about content, and again, doing this episode. I've been wanting to do just more very focused, ask things. So we did one on content today. We'll probably do one on casting and stuff in the near future too, and have some of your favorite casters on here talking about the craft of casting, especially in Hearthstone. But no, this has been really, really great, and Toast and Trolden, definitely thanks for doing this with me and Nox, and want to do some shout outs now. Got any shout outs you want to do? Toast, we'll start with you.
I want to thank Reynad for inventing Hearthstone and Tempo Storm and having sponsoring this show and having me on. And I want to thank you, ChanManV, for thinking of us content creators. We're usually stuck behind the scenes, and people just like us for our content and not our personalities and hopes and dreams and ideals. But doing this, people at least get a glimpse into that. So, no, it's been really fun. So, thank you.
Yeah, you're a big part of the community. I mean, that's what I mean. Like our Hearthstone community is a lot more people than just the streamers, and a lot of the popular players. And I, hope ValueTown can help with exposing a lot more people, or just like getting the audience to know you guys a little bit better. Trolden, how about you? Shout outs.
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me to the show. I'm always afraid of this kind of stuff. This is basically why I'm not streaming. I'm not really that comfortable in front of a lot of people, even though it's just a webcam. I know there are like maybe 2,000 people watching it right now. So thank you so much. I'd love to do it again sometime if you find me useful. And thanks to all streamers and Hearthstone players who send me the videos and the viewers who support me with all their awesome views and positive, amazing comments on YouTube that I always read. And yeah, just
Bible thump. This is beautiful.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Nox, shoutouts?
Yeah, as usual, just shout out to Soylent, who is actually sponsoring the stream. And also, like, community-wise for Hearthstone, I discovered a new love. A big shout out to the Hearthstone general forums, who have helped me see the light, because I've actually just realized how much we've been missing by not going there. And, you know, I'm starting a new series of videos on that topic because I can't not. There's too much gold to dig through on those forums.
What?
It's beautiful. So shout out to the general Hearthstone forums. You have to go there, man. You have to go there, read some threads, laugh, and, you know, feel better. It's good.
Okay. I haven't been there in a while. I mean, I don't go there until it, you know, sometimes, like, or most of the time I don't go there unless there's something posted on Reddit, but I believe you. I can't wait for to see those write-ups. But yeah, I'll just close things out again by thanking you guys. Thanks for the fans and the viewers for coming and watching. Really appreciate that. And you can check out the VODs at youtube.com/ChanManV. I'll post them right after the show. Next week, Ray will be back next week, and I'm not sure exactly who the guest is, so I'll definitely be giving updates during the coming week. As for my other shows, I know everybody's been asking about Unfiltered. Unfiltered will be back next Tuesday, guys. And the overview, my Overwatch show, will be back on Monday too. So full week of shows next week. Hopefully you guys will be excited about that. That's all on twitch.tv/ChanManV. So yeah, follow that and all that good stuff if you want. You can see all our Twitters here. Follow us all on Twitters if you haven't followed us yet. And that's going to be it for Value Town. So for Trolden, DisguisedToast, Noxious, and myself, ChanManV, we'll see you next week. Peace.